here because now I have Dusty messing with his food. So some unwelcome noises may happen. There you are. Anyway, what's up, guys? So today I all of a sudden had a thought and I had to immediately throw it into a stream because my thoughts are like pretty hot right now. Like, I am fired up and I want to bring the topic here and see what you guys have to say about this because I don't think we've ever discussed this before. But you know how this year has been challenging. It's been known for the number of people who we have lost, being average people, meaning the people who are not really public figures. They're not famous. We really don't hear about them. We don't know who these people are, but we know that they're people. Additionally, we also have celebrities. When they pass on, their passing on gets plenty of coverage. As you can imagine, we live in a celebrity worship society, so that is part of the celebrity worshiping cycle. Now, I have noticed, especially in the comments sections of videos that discuss the passing on of a certain celebrity, and say if you go on Twitter and explore these trends, people tend to really lose their minds when you bring up something negative about the person who has passed on. I don't know if it's because it's already been discussed before and the people are impatient, or if it's because this person who's being triggered on behalf of this person who can no longer defend themselves because they're not alive, it offends you because they're not alive to defend themselves. Maybe. But also, I find that the passing on of people is something that tends to be, to a certain extent, glorified, or it's something that we need to treat like it's a time completely full of purity. So, with that said, is it really that bad to discuss a person's past when they're no longer around? And the reason I ask that is because if we took that incredibly seriously, we would be, the way I interpret it, discouraging from exploring a past event. You know how we like to say we need to learn more about our history and the past so that we are not doomed to make those mistakes. Why would the passing of someone make that different? If you bring up the dirty laundry that this person possessed, that can serve as a guide as to, hey, this person, let us not forget that they did this messed up stuff. It doesn't mean this is what defined this person, because this person was still a good person regardless. But let's not focus on that. But it would be worthy to remember that, say, if this person abuses certain substances, that mess has consequences. You may die a little sooner than other people. I'm going to forget about filtering myself for the sake of YouTube because I don't care. I like to talk things the way that I mean to say them. So that's one example. US history. We explore it all the time. But in a sense, if we were to give celebrity passings in modern days the same treatment, which is, oh, you cannot talk about the bad stuff that this person did or the stuff that haunted this person, then I guess we should also refrain from studying the history of this country, because all of the people who we talk about are dead and they did terrible things. But we shouldn't discuss it like that. We need to wash the story and be like, stuff happened, but whatever, they make mistakes. No, enumerate those mistakes. Express those mistakes. Put labels, names, representations. Completely define those mistakes so that we can be better. Why must we be limited to this person still being alive to explore those things free of guilt, or saying, well, we live in a society in which the criticism is very brutal, and that's what drives people to doing mad stuff, whatever it is. And I'm thinking, well, what gets me is that we have a pretty fair idea and it's well defined what is the kind of stuff that can land you into trouble. Some of those things can be parental negligence, worker negligence, not being in places on time and inconveniencing everybody else. The general stuff that can get you in trouble, like hurting other people, ending other people's lives, that type of thing. So that's why I want to ask this question, because I want to keep making it very clear that I legitimately struggle with understanding this type of thing. I am very tone deaf, and I guess I am also terrible with empathy. And I feel like this is an opportunity for me to ask these questions and see what you guys have to say, because if I limit myself to my circle of in person friends, I feel like they're holding back some stuff. And sometimes when I'm online exploring threads that discuss things like these, I'm like, oh wow, I never would have thought of that. I would have never considered that. Nobody has told me that. I've never heard anyone else say that. And it makes sense. It's a completely valid point. But sometimes I feel bad that I cannot independently generate that kind of thinking, and I need to rely on some stranger who happens to post about it for me to find out. But anyways, I thought that I would bring this up because I really do not see a problem with this. I think that we should remember the good and the bad, because especially learn about the bad, so that way we are not doomed to make the mistakes that this person made, and that helps us improve the rest of our lives. It is this person's legacy. Sure, I wouldn't want to be remembered for, I don't know, being a bad vlogger, right? But if that is what I'm going to be remembered for, it's like, hey, I am planting the seeds so that in the future nobody else makes the mistake of creating shitty content. Whatever it is, I cannot really pick on myself, because I cannot think of something that I do that is like bad to where I feel like I couldn't be friends with myself because of my habit being harmful. But anyways, that's pretty much it from me, and I'll see what you guys have to say. Season greetings to you, King Garuda. The taboo against speaking ill of the dead partly stems from religious bans on gossip and exaggerating the bad deeds or words of the dead. When it comes to exaggeration, if that's what you're doing, if you're really taking what someone did or said and blowing it out of proportion for the sake of drama and like spicing up a conversation, sure, I can object to that, as long as you know the story of what truly, 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 truly happened. Then I don't think you should pay attention to the venomous tongues that are out there. But when it comes to religion, it's a little odd for me, because I would think that religion would encourage you to remember this person and be like, hey, this could have been a son of a bitch. But within this son of a bitch, there was, what is it? This person was generous. This person was a great father or mother. They were caring. They were really bad at what they did. Like, let's say that their worst sin was that they didn't take care of themselves. Like, they abused things that they shouldn't have abused, and that resulted in their untimely passing, or what we interpret to be untimely passing. But those things, and be like, hey, at least we can learn that you can be a person of bad habits that unfortunately will cut your life short, but that doesn't mean that you cannot accomplish good things, such as being a loving, attentive, caring, nurturing parent, being an excellent worker, How many of us have ever stumbled upon a video or maybe a news article that talks about a person who was, a great community servant and everything, but then eventually we find out that they were good at what they did in their career, but it came at a cost, and that cost was they had to be a terrible parent. Or maybe this person was a great parent and good at their career, but when it comes to their personal relationships outside of, say, taking care of kids and colleague interactions, if you take this person away from those two settings, you realize that this person is actually pretty bad when dealing with people. So that's what I want to know. Why do we insist that that's something that you shouldn't do? I'm not convinced by religion. It's not a good enough reason. And I also think that when you try to purify someone's image just to, let them rest in peace and whatnot, I'm thinking, in a sense, that's disrespectful to the time this person was alive. Because what if this person wanted to do those things to challenge something, be rebellious, and be like, hey, you guys are saying that I shouldn't do, I don't know, drugs or something. Well, I am going to try them out just so you know that it's like eating. If you do so in moderation, it's actually not that bad for you. And if you abuse it, of course, it's going to be super bad for you. Because there's some stuff out there like MJ. I always thought that that was a really bad thing. I always treated it like it was a diabolical thing. Absolutely diabolical. But then I met someone who was telling me that when they consume this thing, it makes them feel better, it helps them relax, soothing properties that it possesses. And I kept saying, are you sure that you don't have an alternative way to soothe yourself that doesn't involve this illegal thing? It used to be illegal at some point, but now, because of the people who rebelled against this thing being given the illegal treatment, now more people can freely enjoy it and not have to suffer consequences behind bars, for instance, just for possession or something like that. So do we really want to put a cover on the accomplishments of this person, what we thought was bad deeds that this person was committing, but then it ended up being something good for the vast majority in society? See what I mean? So what you interpret as speaking ill of the dead, I interpret it as, oh, thanks to this person having the guts to do something different and even risking themselves getting into huge trouble for that, my life actually improved, even though that the MJ example doesn't apply to me. But see what I'm saying? Like, I want to know about the good and the bad of people. And I personally tend to gravitate to people, depending on the season, I guess, what mood I'm in or something. I tend to gravitate toward people who have broken pasts. They are broken people. Because something about listening to them, and first of all, knowing that I'm not by myself, so there's that degree of, oh wow, misery does like company. But I don't do so in a toxic way. It's more of I'm relieved that I am not exclusively a fuck up at this. Like, oh wow, this has happened to you too. It sucks that it has happened to you too, but how have you coped with it? Well, here's how I have coped with it. That's how ideas improve, I believe. But also, if you help each other, I find it that you don't go to the doctor when you're healthy, right? You go to the doctor when you're all sick and messed up, and unless you go for preventive reasons, the doctor may not be as excited to see you. The doctor may be more excited about fixing the person who needs fixing. But the doctor may be excited about the person who's healthy because they may admire the fact that in a society where that can be difficult to achieve, you are thriving. So they want to celebrate you. But the doctor's real job is to be there for repairing people. So for me, if I have the potential of being able to assist someone to repair themselves because I have had experience with whatever tragedy it is they're going through, that makes me feel great. Like, wow, my suffering was not in vain. I was able to take this and grow with it. It shaped me, and now I possess weapons and power to influence another person into conquering this challenge that they're going through. So if I were to pass on, sure, talk about the things that upset you about me, like, oh, she was antisocial, or she absolutely hated group talk, she absolutely did not like to be on top of her room, like my room has not been neat and tidy and like without shit all over it for the past 7 years. you know Talk about whatever it is that bothered you, or if you thought that I came off as a bitch or rude about something, A, you probably deserved it, and B, talk about how I could not control my tongue sometimes and it upset you. Sure, if you feel like, I don't know, let's say that I began to date someone who you were interested in, but you didn't make the first move, and I did the first move, and now you're upset that I stole the man that was never yours. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do that. I don't think that ever happened, but if it did happen, first of all, and second of all, sorry, but not sorry. You need to make that move. But that, I was inspired to express that, use that crazy example because someone shared that with me a few days ago, and I'm like, how stupid. Why are you so stupid? If you like someone, don't wait and go ahead and make a move, because you never know who else is like lurking. There's a lot of fish out there. Don't waste your time. So anyway, and if you thought that I was prideful or I don't know, full of myself, go ahead and say it. I know who I am and what my intentions are, and I have done rather well at documenting it. And just like a friend of mine was saying, I tend to mean exactly what I say, unless I do not know how to put the right words together. I usually let you know, I'm not very sure how to phrase this, but what I'm trying to get at is, and whether it is 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour later that I get to the point, what matters is I got to it. So it is very difficult for you to, at this point, be like, what would Sam possibly think about this? If you have been present this entire time, I feel like I have opined on pretty much everything at this point, and there should be no questions. So even with all that documentation coming from me, that source, you still want to talk trash about me or say crap about me. I don't care, because at that point, you're just being fucking toxic. And toxic people tend to be born toxic and they're going to die toxic. So it's not up to me to fix that person. It's like up to you to know how to identify that this person is just a toxic loser and make sure that they don't drag you with them. Because sometimes I find that these people really want to see you at their level. Like, they're your fan. They're in denial that they're your fan. So instead, they're like trying to find ways to, interestingly enough, although they admire you, they want to bring you down somehow. I guess it's because they want to see you as reachable. But it's not something they can do. But, as a person who's definitely not jealous of anybody, not a hater, and not obsessed with any of those things, I cannot tell you what it's like to be in that mind. I can only tell you from the experiences that I have heard about. And from one hater that I confronted a long time ago, and I was like, what the fuck is your problem? And somehow it always goes back to, I was going through a really bad time. I was having a tough time. I was stressed out, and all I said was, you need to have your emotions in check. Do you not see how dangerous this is? You drive recklessly. You are very hurtful with your feedback. You just you're like a snake. All you need is the little fangs sticking out. but but anyway, I find it that people like that, they are living under a massive misunderstanding, and nobody's keeping them checked until they meet someone like you or me, and then we finally like show them our chin, and then that's when they have no choice but be like, you know what, you're right, I need to humiliate myself. And it sucks that you're telling me that I have been bad at this, but at least you're telling me. I think that what makes this go on for so long in our society is that people are not speaking up. Maybe you're afraid that this is happening at work and you may lose your job because people's feelings are more important than your performance and stuff like that. So, for me personally, I don't have any plans on changing because until like 4 years ago, I used to be one down, miserable, sad little cookie. I wasn't necessarily taking this out on other people. You wouldn't even be able to tell that that's how I felt. But now it's like, I'm indestructible. I'm the best version of myself now. And I do not allow for that to change under any circumstance. So that is why when I think about this topic, which is, talking ill about the dead, I'm like, is it really that bad? What's so bad about it? I mean, and even if it's that bad, you know how they say that social media has been driving people anxious and mad and all that? The person ain't even gonna hear the stuff that we're saying now, right? Is it because we're staining their memory? Look, to the people that it really matters, the people who are honest and they keep it real, they know for a fact that this person's record is clean. And nobody wants to hear that something that you like and love and admire is being talked shit about. But just live with the truth. Make the truth your truth. And when you walk around empowered by truth, nothing should affect you. That's how I live. Like, I know that there's people who have tried to say stuff about me in an attempt to get me in trouble with someone. And in the end, I said, I know I'm walking with truth, and that truth is also my truth, and that's what I speak and express. If you're going to allow yourself to be influenced by that, that is your problem, not mine. You're either on the side of the truth and you accept it and adopt it, or you're not. But I don't have time to entertain you with your insecurities. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you ever hear of a celebrity being talked trash about, and this is someone that you admired, hey, if it's true, there's nothing that can be done about it. Just be like, hey, I remember this person that I admired. They did this and it was heinous. I'm going to make sure that I don't do that, because as powerful as this person was, I can see how it can break a powerful person. Imagine someone whose resources are limited. It would vaporize me. However you want to look at it. Just be positive about it and have your fucking emotions in check, all right? Because 2020, that's what it's all been about. We have seen the real faces of people. And I'm thinking, wow, you all cannot deal with pressure of any sort. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I definitely did not break from this. See what I mean? So anyway, I just want to see people being more open to things. If religion is something that's limiting your experience, your perception, I feel like maybe you're misinterpreting a thing or two. Look for a guide. Maybe look for someone to, if you read the Bible and you're interpreting something a certain way, ask someone who reads it as well and be like, hey, this passage right here, this verse, this is how it makes me feel. This is what I'm interpreting. What do you make of it? Oh, that is totally not what I thought. Or, yeah, that is what I thought. Okay. Have you ever discussed this with someone else? What did they have to say? Oh, they dissented. Oh, they also agreed. Explore! I have been criticized in this channel for beating around the bush or getting off topic or like peeling back so many layers. That's what it's about. I know how to fucking think. Don't be mad about that. You know, you could use some of that. think beyond what you're hearing and seeing. Like, feed that brain, you know. And even I have my limitations, as curious and what is it, thought explorative as I am. I have my shortcomings. But if you don't begin to exercise your brain, it's only going to get worse with age, you know? So anyway, ultimately that's what I wanted to get to. You look cute in yellow. Thanks. And LOL snake. Yeah, man, some people, I just really think that they're snakes. You're just full of venom. Your tongue is full of venom. Your brain is full of venom. Your heart is full of venom. Just go outside, and it's cloudy usually, but have some sun, even if it's through the clouds. Go outside, breathe some fresh air, even though our air quality tends to be in the moderate range according to the index. But at least it's not in the 200s. It's only at around 56, 58. It's bad, contaminated. It's not good, like from 1 through, I think it's 49, when it's considered really clean or good for you. But just do things to help yourself. Eat better, exercise, sleep more, hydrate. But don't make fucking sorry ass excuses. That's why I get angry. You know, but at the same time, if it weren't for those people, I probably wouldn't have as much content for the channel. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm careful about what I say there. But but anyways, so yeah, you guys, this is where I'm going to end my rambling. Thank you so much for commenting and letting me know your thoughts, and that way you know mine, and just know that in conclusion, I don't think it's a big deal. I think you have a right to say whatever the hell you want. There will be consequences for what you say. For instance, someone out there who adores someone is going to be upset at you and be like, how dare you? And just remember, walk with the truth, speak with the truth, and make the truth your truth, not make your truth the truth. There's a difference. So the provable, unchangeable, unalterable truth, walk with that and don't deny it. And then everything will be all right. Work from there and work with what you have. Because I find that a lot of problems are the result of people trying to change something and twist reality to suit them. Who cares if you made a mistake? Who cares if you fucked up? Everybody does that. Some people are more public about it than others, and that's not fair. But we all do our things that we aren't really proud of. Learn from it and move on, move forward. Anyways, you guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you soon.